Oof. New year, new content strategy. I love the New Year energy in the creator community. Threads is full of everyone sharing how this is the year they get consistent or just level up, sharing all the stats they're starting with, the ones they want to hit, and discussing which platforms they're ready to go hard on this year. But why are we like this though? Like, why do we wait till the end of the year or the start of a new one to review and reset our content strategies, when it's a much better practice to review at least quarterly and pivot our content strategies then, instead of waiting until we have a year's worth of stuff to course correct? I don't know. I think it's maybe just that the New Year's energy is just super contagious. Even though we know the majority of people are going to drop off on their goals, it's still exciting to read other people's and feel like we're all in this together. We still feel the need to jump in and share our own goals. So here's me sharing mine as a content creator who has been in this space for 9 years. Yesterday was my 9-year blog anniversary, who has been full-time for 2.5, and who also kind of feels like she's starting content all over again from scratch after moving across the world to Hong Kong. And I think that regardless of where you're at in your journey, there might be something that you relate to or resonate with in my own planning, so here we are. My word for the year is open. I love plans, especially content plans, but I also am not the best at coping when my plans go awry. At least, I never used to be. I think I've been doing pretty well at coping the past 5 months, given that I had to be flexible when the amazing opportunity to move to Hong Kong came up, which inevitably put a stop to the majority of my income sources. And I really want to keep that energy going into this new year. We're remaining open and flexible regardless of what the path looks like ahead of us. So I want to do a little bit of reviewing of my assets, i.e. my brands, my digital brands. Last year, I wrote my monthly stat updates at the start of every month in my day planner. And it was really cool to see the needle move even a little bit, even when my consistency dropped. So I'm going to be continuing doing that this year. This journal is a little bit different. There's not a lot of space on the monthly page for notes. So I think I'm going to commandeer this to-do side, hoping to actually maybe get some washi tape or something to cover the to-do, because I like my journals to say what the function is. So these are the stats that we are starting the year with. I've got little symbols here that communicate the platform to me, but let's actually look a little bit deeper at where my platforms, brands stand. First up, Kea Marriott, my new main boo. I started a vlog channel under my own name about 4 or 5 months ago, and I started consistently posting on it maybe about 3 months ago. And the whole point of it was to document our journey moving here to Hong Kong. And I was actually really surprised to see it end the year monetized with 2,000 subscribers. I cannot even begin to describe to you how much of a blessing that is. We're gonna talk about finances more towards the end, but as just a teaser, when we moved to Hong Kong, I knew that I was going to be moving from breadwinner to not potentially making any money, which honestly I was really grateful for, although it was kind of scary, because at the back of my mind for a while now, I have been really thinking about my job as an influencer in this space of overconsumption, a space where a lot of people just distrust influencers, often rightly so, which is something I've actually talked about quite a bit on this channel. And though I don't think I've taken on any brand partnerships that I don't believe in or for products that I don't love, my Instagram feed for the most part prioritized brand deals because they took up the most time and they paid. And I found that content that reflected me or that was creative or that I wanted to create was always on the back burner. And so when we talked about the move to Hong Kong and knowing that my husband's work would cover our living expenses here, I had this kind of little glimmer of hope that maybe this would be a sign or an opportunity for me to just create more creative content. I always talked about wanting to do things a little bit more cinematic, play more with storytelling, and I feel like this would give me the space to do so without financial pressure on top. And I really didn't think I was gonna get emotional. This is weird. I think it's just really cool that I'm I've started here. I've started something new. A lot of the subscribers of this new channel, the Kea Marriott one, aren't even people that followed me from like previous platforms, from here or from Instagram or anything. They're actually predominantly people like here in Hong Kong. And in such a short period of time, like 3 months of actively posting, to have the channel be monetized, bringing in like a little bit of money, has just been such a blessing. And on like a deeper level, it's so weird. I've been creating content for 9 years, right? And I'm an introvert, so like by no means have I ever started content to become like recognizable or famous or anything. But it's really interesting that in my time in Vancouver, I think I've had like 2 people ever like recognize me and say, come up to me in the streets and say that like they have seen my content and something resonated with them, and that was super cool. Like that took me aback. We're in Hong Kong with 7 million people, and 3 times in the past month, somebody has come up to me and said that they've seen my videos, asked me about something specific in my video, and yeah, just said that they were enjoying the content, and all for different reasons. I don't know, like it's not about the people coming up to me. It's just the fact that like something I created resonated enough with somebody else that they were like consistently tuning in to watch it. It's been really cool. So as a huge segue, bringing that tangent back to the assessment of my brands, under this brand of Kea Marriott, my name, I have now added my Instagram account, or rebranded my Instagram account to align with it. My Instagram account, the one that has ran my business for the past 9 years, has brought over hundreds of thousands of dollars in income in, has been called Comfy Girl Curls since its inception. The name was to tie into my natural hair blog, Comfy Girl with Curls. I like to be comfy, I'd be comfortable with my skin and my hair, that whole thing. And I had previously thought about changing the name for years, but was terrified to because it was working. And on one side, I wanted to change the name because my content had evolved so much past just hair care. I was definitely starting to become more of a lifestyle creator. And so I felt like my name would reflect that. But at the same time, a lot of my opportunities and biggest opportunities had been really tied to the natural hair side of me. That was how I got in touch with Pinterest. They found me through like my Pinterest pins and my blog all about hair. I had been featured in articles, different magazine and news and different types of articles under the handle Comfy Girl Curls. And I was really terrified to kind of sever that connection, because now immediately when you change your handle, you break all of those links and references to you scattered all around the internet. But I think that once I came here and the vlog channel started to take off, I finally felt confident enough to break away. And because I just changed my handle and announced a rebrand, it's still the same platform with the same amount of followers. And so really for the most part, under Kea Marriott, that's all I really have. I have a website where you can like buy my merch and stuff. And I guess I do also technically have threads attached to Kea Marriott now, where I have 4,000 subscribers, followers, friends, and I also technically have LinkedIn attached to my name as well. So that's that brand, that bucket. My next big brand bucket of content is Creating with Kea, this channel, this brand that I'm talking to you from. If you're new here, Creating with Kea is my little corner of YouTube where I share behind the scenes and tips and hot takes about being an influencer or a full-time content creator. I've talked about everything from like how to use Pinterest effectively, to how to land and negotiate brand deals, to why I think in some regards the influencer economy is dying. I have a YouTube channel, I have a blog, I have a Pinterest account that directs traffic back to said blog. I have an Instagram account that is sorely neglected. It has 1,200 followers, a Threads account, TikTok account that I have no idea how many people are on there. We're gonna return to TikTok in a second. And I have a mailing list. Then my final bucket is Comfy Girl with Curls, which you might be thinking, wait a second, didn't you just rebrand to Kea Marriott? But it's a little bit more complicated than that. So I do still want to maintain the brand of Comfy Girl with Curls. Comfy Girl Curls is still going to be the primary dedicated place for hair and beauty content. But I think it's gonna be something that I keep at a little bit of an arm's length, but I can envision it maybe someday it being a blog with a lot of guest writers or even full-time writers on it. Comfy Girl Curls, as it stands, has a YouTube channel with 1,300 subscribers, and the blog actually just got accepted into Journey, which, if you're not familiar with ad publishers, is like the baby of Mediavine, which is like one of the most coveted ad publishers in the blogging space. It's the program through which you will have like ad placements on your site, and Mediavine is notorious for paying a lot and also having like pretty high entry criteria. But they created like a baby version called Journey, and I just got into that, and my vlog's making like 30 bucks a month, even though I haven't posted on it in a year. So that's pretty cool, which is also why I'm kind of inclined to just maintain a bit of a presence, because it seems silly to give something up that is making money without effort. And if maybe I put in a little bit of effort or even hired out effort, it could maybe make more. I don't know. So the order that I shared those 3 brands in is actually the order that I am planning on prioritizing things this year. KM Marriott has grown faster than anything I've worked on to date, and I don't want to curb that momentum, as I'm often tempted to do. Like, usually my personality is something blows up and I'm like, okay, cool, that's bright, shiny, on to the next. We're not gonna do that here. We're gonna lean in, we're gonna try to be consistent. But a close second is going to be this channel, where I plan to continue to share my learnings as a content creator, which I think are going to be so much more now that I launched a new channel and am trying to navigate business in a new country. I'm actually pretty excited about it, because I think content creators who have like how to grow YouTube channels or how to be a content creator YouTube channels often stop creating other types of content, or just don't create other types of content. And sometimes it kind of feels like you're only successful because you're making content about like how to make money. And I like to think that this channel can be a bit refreshing for people, because it has always been a channel designed to share like my real life experiences as a creator. That's why I'll also have me trying to build things in public, taking you along on my journey. It's not always just going to be 5 tips for this, here's how to make money, da 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 da. And so for this channel, my priority is going to be YouTube first, blog second, and Instagram. I'm trying to keep it on the list, but it's been so hard for me to be consistent under this brand on Instagram. I haven't figured out what my presence will look like there. At first, I was sharing a lot of like little carousels with tips that were just boiled down tips from my YouTube videos. And now I'm like, do I want to try to enter the reel space? Are we gonna do photos with tips? Will I just cut down my YouTube videos? I feel like that's just so much extra effort. I don't know. If you have tips on what type of educational Instagram content you like to consume, please let me know. And then I'm quite sad to say that Comfy Girl Curls, though it's the foundation that everything was built on, is fallen to the bottom of the list. I just don't have the capacity to work on it, which is evident by like the last time I posted on my blog and YouTube channel. One day when I build my funds back up, I would really love to hire out help, specifically around just editing YouTube videos and then maybe converting those YouTube videos into blog posts, because I don't mind washing my hair or styling my hair and talking about it and talking about the products as I use them. It's not a lot of effort to set up the camera and document something that I have to do semi-frequently, but it's just a huge undertaking to edit those videos when I'm trying to edit for 2 other channels and do Instagram content and Pinterest and blogs and da-da-da-da-da. So I'm putting Comfy Girl Curls on the back burner for now, but I'm remaining open. So I'm gonna do a really brief like outs and ins for 2025. Things I'm leaving in 2024 and the things that I am taking with me into this year and beyond. So things I'm leaving behind, the outs. TikTok. It's why I didn't really talk about it very much. It's so ironic because my Creating with Kea TikTok account is like my biggest platform. It's probably been steadily dropping, but I think it's maybe at like 50,000 subscribers or followers, whatever. But the thing is, there's no TikTok in Hong Kong. I haven't looked at my accounts. I haven't been able to access my accounts in 5 months. And before that, I wasn't even really posting on them. I only maintained a slight presence on my Comfy Girl Curls one because a few brand deals were coming in. It's funny, I also didn't have very many followers there. It was maybe like 1,000, but brands were still really happy to pay me to post and then just pay to boost it so it reached more people. But guys, the sun is rising and it's also kind of chilly. It's like 20 degrees here and I'm already so acclimatized that I'm cold. Anyways, and then there's also the like looming TikTok ban in the States. And yes, I was Canadian anyway, so it wouldn't have affected me, but I do believe it's going to affect everybody if it goes through, because like ad revenue makes an app go round. And if you're losing a huge base and then a huge amount of advertisers going in, like Canadians were kind of just riding that wave. So Anyways, TikTok's out. I am deleting it from my phone. I don't even know why I still have it on my phone. Yes, I know I could have bought a VPN, but like just to access TikTok, that's not worth it for me. Also out, Twitter. I didn't even mention it in my like lineup of platforms because I'm so disappointed in that app. It has become such a cesspool. There's like one little pocket of creator community on there that I think is like holding on. Like I don't even want to say is thriving. And I am kind of bummed to miss out on that. But every time I open that app, it's awful. The content I see, the takes I see, the hate I see, the things it's putting on my feed, no matter how many times I like try to hit not interested. I hate it. It makes me unhappy. It's upsetting because I actually have made some like really good friends on Twitter who I've met up with in person, and it's just like a shadow of the app it once was. And I don't even want to say that like Threads is a good alternative. Threads, I feel like, is a completely separate app with its own energy, own ecosystem, and I am going to be like kind of consistent there. But the Twitter app just has to go. Next, doom scrolling is out. I feel like it's self-evident. We all know why doom scrolling is bad. It eats so much of our time. It rots our brains. It's out. I also want to try my best to eliminate or at least reduce overthinking in 2025, especially when it comes to content. I want to try to like shorten that gap between coming up with an idea and creating it, which will hopefully reduce the chances I have to overthink the idea and then not execute it. For example, I told myself I want to make a lot of just like really gorgeous reels, and this entire year I wanted to do it. But the more I thought about it, the more like the perfectionist mindset came up, the more I overthought it, the further away I seemed from actually creating it. And then it's funny, I bucked up and did something close to what I've been envisioning all year as my rebrand video. And it was not that hard. I don't know why I overthought it this entire time. It took not that much time to film, not that much time to edit, and it was very well received. So we can't be stuck in that overthinking phase, that thought paralysis stage of mine. Next, trying to be everywhere. This is actually super counter to my usual advice for content creators, because I believe having a semi-consistent presence on like every main platform has made it easier for me to be taken seriously as a smaller creator, and has allowed me to build up to making six figures with like 14,000 followers. But I now have 3 brands, and it is literally impossible, as I have discovered, to be on every single platform for every single brand. Like trying to maintain a presence on just 2 last year, like 2 blogs, 2 YouTube channels, 2 Pinterest accounts, 2 Threads, 2 Instagrams, if I said that already, I don't know, 2 Twitters, already proved to be impossible. If I had just one brand, I would do it. I would buck up and be everywhere, but I can't. So until I can hire help, I am going to give up on trying to be everywhere. And now the things that are in for 2025. I know I just said that I was not going to be everywhere, but I am going to take Threads into 2025 with me, but as like a really low stakes space. I think it's fun to connect with people there and have discussions. I'm not going to have a whole Thread strategy. I'm just gonna be present. Number 2, I kind of hinted at this, but high effort reels. This is something I've been wanting to do forever. My favorite reels and like my favorite content in general is just like high production quality mixed with storytelling. So this means that the majority of my reels are going to be filmed on my camera, that I'm probably going to edit them like in Premiere Pro. I just want to put the effort into them to make them look and sound the way I like to consume other content. And I'm primarily talking about on Kea Marriott. Maybe one day I will also do this for creating with Kea. But I think that especially with this brand, it will just help to bridge the gap between my long form and my short form content. The comments I've received recently on my YouTube channel, the vlog channel, have been that they really like the visuals, they love the storytelling, they love my calm, soothing voice apparently. And I want to just like bring that energy into my reels. My next in for 2025 is to have more wide appealing videos. And this one probably wasn't the best start. This one's pretty niche, this one's for the community, but I just want to challenge myself more to make videos that would appeal to a wider audience, cast a wider net to get my videos in front of more people. I feel like I've been pretty resistant to this, and I often kind of self-sabotage. Like I'll do a video with a wide appealing concept that I know will get like a pretty good amount of views. The video does well, and then I like retreat back to like the most niche videos possible that like only somebody who is already familiar with and who enjoys my content will watch. But the thing is though, the people who watch those more niche videos who have become a deeper part of my community often share that it was one of those wide appealing videos that first got their attention. So I feel like I'm kind of limiting myself at this stage by consistently falling back on creating community niche-driven videos when there's so many people out there who don't even know what they're missing. Yeah, so that's on the docket for this year. And finally, my final in for 2025 is to make social media social again. I don't know if it's like these algorithms that have primed us to behave a certain way or just we're all getting like burnt out from content consumption, but I've noticed in my own social media habits that I don't engage as much as I used to. Like I get caught in that doom scrolling action. And even if a piece of content like speaks to me or I enjoy it or it's from somebody I like, I'll read it, I'll look at it, and my brain doesn't even stop to think to like it. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just not as social on social media as I once was. And I think that that's kind of a collective thing. I don't know. I feel like social media has changed so much. Like the people that I was connecting with back in the day when I first started content creating are still some of my really good friends to this date, and I would have like no hesitation like meeting up with on the other side of the world or like inviting to my home to stay over. But now, like, I can't think of the last time I made like a new friend on social media. And I don't know if that's me or the platforms, but I want to change that consciously. So socializing socially. Okay, and finally, we're gonna talk about money. We're about to get really transparent. So last year I ended with $80,000, which is pretty cool given that I lost like 5 months worth of income or like business momentum. But that is a drop from the $103,000 I made the year before. And I do also want to note that a lot of the money I made in that last 5 months were the end of year-long contracts that I had signed when I was in Vancouver. I do want to say a lot of my drop in income was on me. Halfway through the year, I stopped posting as much to focus on the move, and therefore I didn't get many chances to appear on brands' radars for them to reach out and want to work with me. And it also looked like my brand was completely dormant. But also, a lot of the drop and what I anticipate to continue to be a drop is just the nature of this move. A lot of brands I previously worked with were product-based and or Canada, if not Vancouver specific. Even when I worked with global brands like CoverGirl or like Clorox or Pine Sol, I was most often working with a Canadian-based agency whose focus was to source Canadian influencers for a Canadian audience. So in moving here, despite my audience not really changing yet anyways, brands have been hesitant to pay the cost to send me items. Shipping to Hong Kong is actually pretty wild, or just didn't want to deal with the hassles of engaging with people overseas. Literally, it has been my dream to work with Best Buy my entire content creator journey, and they reached out to me for a Christmas campaign, not realizing that I was overseas. And when they reached out, I was like, hey, I would love to work with you. Here's all these different ideas. I own like a gajillion products that are from Best Buy that I've bought at Best Buy. Like, we can make this work. And then they ghosted me. And I was actually ghosted by 3 other major brands after they found out I lived here, despite me each time proposing like concepts that I thought would really work, because again, a huge chunk of my audience is still in Canada. So this all requires a pivot in how I approach my business. So on Kea Marriott, I am going to be employing basic brand deal attraction methods, like the ones I've talked about all across this channel, as well as in my mini-series. It's time to start everything over from scratch, targeting a brand new market. And it's really cool to see the connections I've already made here. The PR I've already been sent, mostly just through my YouTube videos, though there's been no money yet. I'm really excited to see what comes as I focus on this more intently and tailor my Instagram a bit more to align with life in Hong Kong. I've also already started a list of Hong Kong PR agencies I want to introduce myself to, and I'm following local creators and taking note of the brands that they work with or just get sent PR by, and I'm adding them to my own pitch list if they make sense for my brand. Then when it comes to making money on creating with Kea, I'm going to be focusing more on software as a service companies, i.e. companies that do not require a product to be shipped. Maintaining relationships like the one I have with Adobe and hopefully developing more should hopefully allow for more brand deal opportunities that are not restricted by borders. And to make this more organic, you're probably going to hear me sharing a lot more about the different tools that I use to support my business. And also, I think I'm just going to be leaning into YouTube harder in general. YouTube AdSense can be unpredictable, but by getting back to posting more consistently and strategizing some of those wider appealing videos, I think a goal of reaching like $2,000 a month in Google AdSense or YouTube AdSense between both my channels by the end of the year isn't that crazy, especially since I've previously hit a high of $800 in a month on this channel and have already hit $200 a month on my vlog channel, less than a month into being monetized. And yeah, I think that's the vision for now. Keeping things relatively manageable. We just started construction behind us with some cement drilling, so I think that's it. We're done. Would love to hear what you guys are focusing on this year, what type of content you'd like to hear from me this year, and looking forward to whatever we all create. Thanks for watching, and until next time.